Tell me about your weekend, Tyler.
Ooh. So, interesting weekend. Finally, I guess kind of got back into dating a little bit. Dabbled my toes in it. Took a pretty long hiatus for like a year.
Explain how you got where you're at.
What do you mean?
Dating, like why? How? What was the hiatus? Why? All that.
Right. So my kind of stance on like going out on dates, doing stuff like that is like if it's something where you're like, I need this, don't do it.
Okay.
So for me, I'm like, all right. So like, I had a relationship. Probably my last one was like a year and a half. Probably almost 2 years ago now.
Okay.
So it's like taking some time off of that, but it was for a while too, like a couple of years, right? So after that, I want to take a break. Like, don't go right back into something since it's just going to be the same shit over again. Yeah. So I want to take some time, invest in myself, figure out, what I'm doing, and then once I do that, it's like, don't go out and just look for it. Just do my thing, and then once you stumble across something, there it is.
Gotcha.
That's kind of my approach to it.
So that's where you've arrived currently in life.
Yeah.
Right now. Yes.
So that's kind of where I'm at. I was just kind of doing my thing. Something popped up, so I was like, okay, why not go out on this date? So planned on having going out. I think we had talked on Sunday over on the phone, because I usually like to do that too, especially if I'm like going out with somebody, so that way make sure their voice is a couple octaves lower, something like that.
Right. Yep. Not just the written word.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And two, you can kind of get a feel for the chemistry, because you can already have that kind of first conversation in, things like that. Yeah. Right. So then we planned on going out getting Korean barbecue, which I never had, still haven't.
Okay, that needs to go on your list, because that's fucking...
It's right at the top of my list. I just haven't gotten around to it.
All the Koreans we know, and you...
I know.
Shame on your Korean friends.
I know. I bring dishonor. But yeah, so fast forward to that. The day of hits. We're
talking first date material now, right?
First date. Yep. First date. A couple of phone combos, texting.
Yes.
To the extent of it, right? So getting a place locked down. Already had that. Figuring out a good time, right? And then I get hit with this text that says, "Hey, one of my girlfriends is in town. Super close friend that I grew up with, and she wanted to go out. And wanted basically to see her while I'm in. She's only in town for tonight or whatever. Right. Then she has to leave. So she was like, instead of going out, do you want to just come out with us?" So I was like,
sure.
Okay,
right.
Sure,
right.
So then I head down there, and then I'm like, okay, well, where's this? And she's like, okay, so out in Buckhead. Go out to Buckhead, do the thing, looking around.
Buckhead, for those that don't know, is
a
common going out clubbing area in Atlanta.
Right. So tons of bars, stuff like that. So I'm like, okay,
yeah,
cool. Didn't really think too much about it. It's like, whatever, I'm there. So head down there. It's like a 45-minute drive, right? Get there, and then it quickly dawned on me as soon as I saw the table that I'm crashing girls' night.
How many people total were there? There was her and
two friends.
Two friends.
Three.
So 3 girls and you.
3 girls, me.
So you're like not the fifth wheel, but basically felt like we're kind of the fifth wheel.
Basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, they were rolling with the tricycle, and I was trying to turn it into a 4-wheeler. So and then she'd even wanted me to come meet up with them, because they were gonna pregame before they went down, and then that ended up, I was like, nah, we'll just catch you at the bar or whatever. So anyway, so then it quickly dawned on me that her friends were just wanting to have a girls' night, and then that I was basically crashing it, which I totally get, because it would have been the same thing if we were having boys' night, and then somebody brings their girl.
Yeah.
It'd be like,
now you fucked up how we can talk around each other.
Right.
And yes, okay. Especially they're single girls and want to do their thing too. So
100%.
Yep.
So we talked for a little bit. Had a good time, whatever. Had a couple of drinks, and then I was like, all right. Her and one of her girlfriends were clearly not on the same page with it. So it's like, cool, I'm gonna duck out. Y'all enjoy your girls' night.
Right, you didn't want to be the problem, right? So,
right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So fast forward all that.
You did the nice guy thing.
Nice guy thing.
Yeah.
Right. So fast forward to yesterday. This is all on Friday, right? So we basically, like, after that, sent a couple of texts here and there, like, basically, telling her it was, great meeting, whatever.
Yeah.
Have to line it up this weekend. She told me, she was free pretty much, the rest of the weekend, right?
Yep.
Then, nothing. Radio silence.
Total ghost town.
Total ghost. So.
And at this point, you're expecting it. If I'm remembering this right, you're expecting to hear from her the night of, like maybe when she gets home, or the girls' night is over, maybe.
So I did. Yeah. I heard from her once she got back after girls' night.
Okay.
But it was like 5 in the morning. Like.
But what was it? Or just like, hey, sorry about all that.
Yeah.
Let's talk tomorrow, type of thing, or something. And then
nothing.
This was
yesterday, so Saturday.
Yeah, the whole thing was Friday night, right?
Yep.
And then so Saturday, I was trying to remember our dialogue. We had talked about this. Saturday it was you get home at 4 or 5 in the morning. Yeah, you're gonna sleep half the day. That's cool.
Right.
So that's understood. It's understood that that's radio silent.
Totally.
Then like evening hits and it's like
nothing.
Now like
yeah.
And then obviously now we've been almost another full day and that's
still nothing. Right. So yeah, yesterday like in the evening, like around I remember I was telling you like 9 or 10.
Yep.
Like shot a couple texts.
Yeah, you're like Saturday night. It's kind of the last like opportunity.
Other than like maybe tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that's hard too because everybody's got work or whatever.
Right.
It's Sunday night. So what is your?
So
before I fucking chime in on tons of my shit on this, what's your like? Where are you at with that? What's your feedback or your?
Right. So my thing with it, and like, I guess the thing that drives me nuts just in general about people, and I guess that I realize, like with this specifically, is just like, like I get it. I used to be like a lot less of a confrontational person than I am, right? So if it's something where it's like, hey, like this isn't working, whatever.
Yeah.
I would just rather you tell me that shit instead of like flaking or ghosting or anything like that. Like, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Just tell me so I can know to like
move
on,
hanging,
do other
right?
stuff. Yeah, just don't leave me hanging. So it's the same thing where it's like, if I'm trying to make plans with a friend and they're like wishy-washy, not not committing to anything, and then they're like, hey, last minute, I'm gonna go do this over here. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Same thing with friends. Also popped its head up here. So that was something where I was just like, I would much rather just being upfront about it, be like, hey, not sure or whatever. Don't tell me one thing like, hey, I've got Saturday and Sunday free.
Yeah.
Right. And then just not say anything basically.
Yeah. So a couple things, right? Number one, huge red flag with me would have been, and this is obviously hindsight, so this is easier
100%.
in hindsight. Huge red flag would have been that phone call that, hey, my girlfriend's coming in town. Can we just combine these plans?
Right.
Because first date, like second date, that's easy material.
100%.
First date, like, bitch, I don't know you yet. Nah, I shouldn't say bitch.
Well,
I use that very generally.
Right. But no, but that's true.
But
that was something I didn't realize.
I don't know you yet. We don't have that connection yet that we can now have a connection within a group.
Right.
We didn't meet in a group, so it's difficult to continue that in a group. It's okay to do that later. Like, it would have been much cooler if she'd have been like, we got these plans. I'm meeting up with the girls at 8. Let's you and me meet at 7.
Right.
That would have made more sense because then you're able to say, we've established some one-on-one things that we like about each other. Now let's, as a couple or as a people that have established understanding and knowing each other,
right,
join this group, and that would have been so much cooler. Trying to do them all simultaneously makes everything really awkward. It's very obvious to our friends that you are new to the group, and this
100%.
The whole thing's fucking awkward.
Well,
it's not
weird.
fair to you. It's not fair to our friends.
Mm-mm.
It was really irresponsible of her when you look back at it.
Yeah.
And to her, not even a shit on her. Like, people make mistakes like that. They
100%.
think like, oh, maybe I can make both work, and really they both don't work.
Right. And I get it. I've done not similar shit like that, but I've tried to make, like, if I've got multiple things I want to do that's happening at the same time, I get it. You're trying to make something happen, right?
It came from a good place.
100%.
It was incredibly naive, and
but I didn't realize how weird it is to be like to walk up to a situation like that and be like, okay, you're the person I'm here to see, but now I got to get to know you, and then on top of it, I got to get to know your friends too that have known you for forever. Yeah. And it was just me.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, great.
Yeah, that's too hard, man. That's
That was tough. I
and
needed a dating
it's
coach.
just like I said, it's simply it's simply not fair. It's
Right.
not fair to everyone involved, and especially not fair to anything. Like say, on other circumstances, you guys could hit it off perfectly, and
100%.
it basically didn't give you guys even a chance on that shit.
Not at all.
And to me, outside looking in, very bird's eye view, doing that and the ghosting and like the hot and coldness of everything is a reflection of her. It's like, oh, this is the kind of person you are. This isn't just a coincidence, circumstance. This is just how you live life. And to me, like that's like red flag city. I'm like, oh, you got a lot fucked up. You got too many moving pieces.
Right.
I can't pin you down as a person, and that's not out of a compliment either. Out of it's more of an insult because
it's not like, oh, like you're such a mystery. It's like,
like, oh, you're so deep. It's not deep.
No.
It's chaos.
Right.
And if I can't pin you down as a person because of chaos, that to me is huge red flags and indicative of this isn't just this weekend. If you continue talking to her, right, which is a thing, it might, and that's cool too. But almost do it with an understanding that this wasn't an outlier.
Right.
This is likely how her life is.
Right.
And you know, hey, that might be cool, and people change and people evolve, and this just might be where she's at now in life. But I have a hard time believing that was just this weekend, and that was just a dynamic between you and her. It's very much probably a dynamic she has with other people in her life, family, friends, other guys she might be trying to date. Right? These are just
100%.
how she is right now, and it is again. I looked it up to make sure I fucking reference it right. The Maya Angelou quote: "When people show you who they are, believe them." Right? So when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And this is it. Like I would be like, cool, you are, unpredictable. You're a little messy.
Yeah.
You're a little chaotic, and you are not. I can't count on you. Right? Can't count on you to do what you said you would do to get in touch. You had plans this weekend.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you were willing to put your shit on hold for her.
100%.
And it doesn't seem like it was the opposite. It was reciprocated. And to me, this is where like narcissism has to take over a bit and be like, I'm above that. You know what I mean? Like I would have to be like, no, like that's not how this shit works with me. Well, it could work with some other fucking no do-gooder down the street, but that ain't not me, motherfucker.
Right. Well, and that's kind of why I was like, okay, cool. Like I didn't hear from you, so I had plans to go have a poker night with the boys. Yeah. I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah, imagine if you had canceled that. Been like, and wait, like I would have been fucking pissed. I would
have been so upset.
And then it wouldn't even been pissed at her at that point. I would have been pissed at yourself, right?
100%.
Be like, I'm a fucking sucker. I think I told you that that night, and I was like, did you at least go? And you're like, yeah. I was like, good. If you would have said no, I would have called your ass a sucker because that is sucker shit. And what she might be used to, and this is very much assumptions based on the 100%. Snapshot of her. What she might be used to is people just being suckers and being like, well, she's so pretty, so she gets away with these things. So not me, motherfucker. Mm-mm. You are one of a fucking million other pretty girls in Beaufort, let alone
maybe the area,
in the greater Atlanta area.
There it is.
And the fucking 13 counties of Metro Atlanta. However, like to me, and this is, I think, I was gonna say this is like young mentality, but it's really not young mentality. Mm-hmm. It's immature emotional mentality, so that you can get that out of older people as well. That we say because people are pretty, they can get away with these things. And if the girl was, if you were just kind of about her looks, you wouldn't be letting her get away with that shit. You know what I mean?
100%.
Whereas she is smoking hot. I've seen her. She's beautiful. And I think she's used to just being able to get away with being a shitty person to people. Or not even, God, I feel like I'm judging her really bad. But at least
I know what you mean. Like
shitty actions to people. Maybe it's not a reflection of it's maybe not a reflection of her just yet, but in the Maya Angelou world, it kind of is, in that she's used to being able to treat people shitty or be inconsistent with people and be a flake and get away with it because they're like, well, she's kind of fine. I'm cool with it. Whatever. We'll help you around. And likely she needs more people to be like, hey, you know what? You fucked up. Now you got to try. Yeah. Now, to me, that's where my ego like starts to take over and be like, "Fuck that! Chase me now!" Like I've made my effort.
That's where we're
now.
at.
You got to make 2 times the effort to even get my attention again. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think it's necessary. It's necessary to curve people like that because they could end up being in your life long term. But you've set a standard that says, yeah, you can be in my life if you're willing to come at an equal thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going the 100 yards for you and see you go 0 yards. I'll go 50 to watch you come 50, and we'll help each other. That shit's cool.
Yeah.
But the minute becomes this very self-centered, selfish thing, to me, I'll take one example and I'll multiply it times a lifetime.
Yeah.
Right. I do this when this is a side story, but when I used to rent out houses, and I'm showing the house to a tenant, and if the tenant's like, hey, what about that crack? Or what about it's kind of cold in this room? I'd be like, I'd take that mention and multiply it times 12 months of being a tenant, and I would say, don't want you as a tenant. And in my mind, I would never call them back. I would X them off my list immediately. The ones that were just cool about shit, I was like, cool, you can be a tenant. That's how I think we should do with life. When you're meeting someone new, you take that and you say, it's not a red flag yet because it's new.
Right.
However, if I took that and multiplied it times 12 months in a year, would I be sick of that shit? Fuck yeah, you would. You'd be sick of being ghosted or her not backing it. Like, that would be an issue. Like, that's breakup 100%. Material. Like, you know what? I see where this can go. I don't like it. And you can either walk away from it, or you can tell that person, like, look, I don't like the way you did that. You need to fix that shit, or we could be cool. You could become amongst the other 7 billion people in the world that I just don't know.
Yeah.
And that's fine too. I don't have to hate you because of it. But we could also not exist around each other, and that's cool also. Right. But pick one, bitch, because I'm not bringing you have to be so selective about what is in your fucking fish tank, you know what I mean? And I'm not bringing toxic shit in my fish tank.
Nope.
It either has to change or it has to get the fuck out. And to me, when I see people like that, again, it was a harmless, innocent weekend.
Yeah.
She could have a really good reason for it. There's a lot of
100%.
things that could be positive about it. But for me, my fucking little antennas go up like, you are about to get evicted from life in a moment. And you got one way to save this, and that's it, you know? So that shit bugs me when I hear it. And obviously it doesn't happen to me, but it bugs me when I hear it on other people's behalf, too. Because it's like, you don't get to do that to people, man. Fuck you.
100%.
And it comes from, like, privilege, like, pretty privilege. Like, no, you don't. I don't give a fuck if you're a fucking dime piece. You don't get to treat me like shit at all. That's how, I've had that attitude with people that have good money, or like super rich.
Yeah.
I've had that with jiu-jitsu world, like fucking high level black. Like you don't.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck where you are in status of what you think you are. You a man just like me, or you a female. You're a human being just like me. I'll be fucking damned if you'll ever talk down to me. Like that shit will never, ever, ever happen, and I won't do it to you. But I'll be goddamn if you'll do it to me. So that when that shit happens like that, it's not talking down, but I get that same like rise out of me. Like, are you thinking I'm like beneath you? Is that why you're treating me like that? Fuck you.
Right.
You know, that bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah. No. And that's basically where I'm at now. It's like, you know, okay, if you want to make some shit happen, it's on you. Yep. I did my part.
Yeah. It's her turn to prove herself.
Right. You know? I think even above and beyond like probably the normal shit.
Fuck yeah, you put up with her friends without even knowing her.
Right.
You voluntarily evicted yourself from the situation.
Without making a scene, doing any stink.
Without giving her shit about it at all.
No.
And she fucking ghosted you. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'll write people off fucking fast. I'll get in a fuck you mode real quick because, again, and this I think is therapeutic because I think we get caught up, not necessarily saying you with her by any means, but we as humans would get caught up on someone, like, oh, but that one is can't live without, I need this. It's like, dude, there are fucking 7 billion. We're rolling up on 8 billion people.
Right.
Why the fuck do I give a fuck about one?
Yeah.
You want to talk about, like, you want to put that on a chart that is like a little sliver of the pie. Then why would I ever do that? And that goes for anyone. Period.
100%.
And the only sliver of fucking pie I give a fuck about is my sliver. And outside of that, I get to, and therefore, like you were saying before, I don't go to other slivers of the pie out of need. I go out of want. And if I want you in my life, I will choose that. Not because I fucking need you.
Right.
And that's where it becomes flawed and like problematic, man.
Well, yeah, and I think you can also like tell the people that are running around like everybody's seen that one person that they know that's always hopping from one relationship to the next over and over and over.
Yep.
And those people I don't think ever take time to invest in themselves, so they don't know
they're avoiding
who they are. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing that I was like, I've seen that, and I was like, I don't want to be that. Yeah. So I'm going to, do my own thing. Yeah. And if the situation comes along, I'll go along with
I
it.
think that's healthy, man. It's there's a meme that says that. It's like something about all these girls talking about this guy's my world, and then a month later, this guy's my world. Bitch, you building a universe. You got a galaxy going on. But it's real. I think that is an aggressive avoidance of self-discovery and an aggressive avoidance of self-awareness.
Yeah.
And because that scares a lot of people. It's people that we hide so much, man, that we're afraid of uncovering what we've hidden, like what we've dug in our backyards, and just like with, say, you're feuding with someone, the longer you go without talking to them, it gets even harder to talk to them. Same thing with the shit that we hide. The longer we go without unburying it, it makes us scareder to even unbury it. So then we're just like, well, fuck it, I'll just go fall in love again. Or fuck it, I'll just go lean on this person. I'll do that, and I'll find this drug, and I'll find this person or this situation. And we're just hopping over, and you see people do that. That's that social media life that we're traveling here now, and I got this new dog, and I got this new car. And it's like we all see what you're doing, mainly because we do it too.
Right.
And it's this consumerism or this emotional reliance-ism that is just all avoidance. We're just avoiding self. And because self is fucking scary, and the longer we avoid it, the scarier it becomes.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why you meet people and like you'll talk about DMT or you talk about acid or mushrooms and like psychedelics. They're like, no, I'm afraid of what's gonna. Yeah, you're afraid of yourself.
Yeah.
Because all those drugs they're internalizing, and you get to you have to face yourself in those. It's all those are. When people describe bad trips, you're facing your fucking self you're facing some of the dark shit you didn't want to unbury. So when you talk to people about it and they say, I'm afraid, it's like, hey, you're afraid of you.
Yeah.
And people don't want to, if they worded it that way, they would think a little harder about that. You're not just afraid of that drug or tripping, but you're afraid of you. And to me, that is the great plight of our now society. And that we are a society afraid of our fucking selves.
Yeah.
And now, the same way you said, you see that in people, like they date, and then just avoid, and you don't want to be that way. That's the same way. Now that I've recognized that, I can't unrecognize it, and I'm frightened to death of ever being like that. So I incessantly will like I got my backyard's got holes. Like I'm looking for shit now. I feel like I've discovered everything, and I'm like, no, there's more in there somewhere. Because I want to, because my grand fear is becoming that person that just seeks external things to disguise me. Like I've gotten so close to it that last thing I want to be is far from it again, because I don't want to be afraid of getting close to it again. It's fucking bang,
Yeah, but yeah. So that was my weekend.
so you didn't get your dick wet this weekend. All right. In summary,
didn't get to try out the blowfish.
Didn't get to try out the old blowfish, the old 12 to 6, baby.
Yeah. I think and there was some shit I was thinking about on the way over this morning too, because I remember last weekend when we were out in Birmingham, for IBJJF and all of that.
Yep.
Then we went out to that bar afterwards.
Yep.
I was on the phone talking to this girl.
Yep.
It was supposed to be like a 10-minute thing. Turned into like an hour and a half.
Yep.
Where I was like, I could have been inside.
Wow.
Talking to
Matter of fact,
all
who
the
told you
college-
that?
You did.
I did. That's right.
You did.
What the fuck are you doing? And
But I realize it now.
Yeah, well, hindsight's an awesome thing like that.
It's
right?
great. But I was like, God, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's and I think that's I don't know. I mean, there's some to that. I do that as well. You live in the future. You gotta invest in something going forward. Yeah, that makes sense.
And obviously, like I think I probably would have done the same thing again. Just because it's like lining, in the same scenario, even
it's
knowing
investing in future possibilities.
Right.
Is what it is.
Right, and that to me seemed more likely than
current stuff.
Right.
I think there's a cool life lesson out of that, and that is that if you should never you should learn from the past, never live in it.
Right.
You should plan for the future, and that's a thing, but never live in it, and then live in the now thing, right? So what it would have been, should have been a 5 or 10 minute conversation, and be like, yes, this is cool for right now because it's a future plan. But if I'm living in the future, I'm ignoring what I'm currently in.
Yep.
And then, in fact, that was probably there's a life lesson in that, but that's the most practical example that exists right there.
Yeah.
You're in a place amongst other single people in a world where there were beautiful people and there were people to meet, but you were living in the following weekend.
Right.
And it was like you missed out on opportunities of current, right?
100%.
And that shit sucks. And now, like, this weekend you're living in the past weekend, like, fuck, I shouldn't, right? And it can become... it can become thematic, and it can become just like we were just saying that we do that, and you'll see people do that, man, and to avoid the now, they do live in the past or they do live in the future because the now is scary sometimes. Talking to that girl at the bar is a little more intimidating than just let me just invest in this thing. That's just a thing, 100%. Right? And we have to just recognize that and call ourselves on that shit. Like, all right, I'm being a bitch right now, and I need to da-da-da. And we all do it. I do it. Everyone has these things. But I think recognizing it is first, and then being like, all right, I want to do something about it, you know? So it's whatever.
Yeah.
So get a time machine and fix that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have gray hair from that shit.
Yeah, call this man. The fuck are you doing? Or else I gotta jerk him off. What the?
Yeah. So I gotta try out the blowfish on him.
Yeah.
It's just not.
I think we do this on this couch for.
Yeah.
Cut them cameras off.